Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Well, we were talking during the break, and I know that you and Ed are really old, and y'all have,
and getting older every
getting
day.
older, and it's a good thing. We're proud of y'all.
Hey, David, you're not getting any younger.
No, I'm not.
and as I remembered, I've got more hair than you.
You do? Okay, that's enough about me.
Now you're getting personal.
Now I know it.
And I was wondering, David, when you go to a barber shop to get a haircut, do they charge you for a haircut or a hunter's fee?
Just a shine. I just get a shine.
It's a sympathy visit. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
All right. Yeah, Joe's always had a full head. Ed's got a full head of hair. You guys, though, y'all have had some health stuff, and I'm proud of you guys for just the way you fight and keep on going.
Hanging on.
Just-
right, Joe? Just hanging on.
Just hanging in there. 76 years of it.
Oh my goodness, that's good. That is so good. So that means that what's this birthday going to be, Ed?
Well, I'm a whole lot closer to 80 than I am anything else. Joe, you know I'm going to be 79 this month. Blah.
79. Well,
Yep.
I knew you were older than me.
Well,
Well, both you and I know I've of course experienced some of Ed's. I started talking to him about his health. He starts telling me about getting hurt playing racquetball, and that's not what I'm talking about. I know he did break his femur and got it all fixed up, but it's those cancer things that you went through, and just your tenacity to get through it, Ed, has been amazing.
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, God has been good, but I can promise you, matter of fact, as of yesterday, every 30 days I go down to Joe Arrington here in town. I got to give him a plug, right?
Okay.
It's called an infusion, immunotherapy. And I'm going to tell people who are sitting out there wondering what kind of treatment they're going to have. You go down to see people at Joe Arrington, Dr. Shellaby, and they've got a drug now that's designated, targeted, other than chemo and radiation, right? I have no side effects. I go every 30 days. I get a scan every 6 months, and the little spot I had on my liver is lessened. These people are good at keeping you around, I can promise you.
Well, that's good. Joe, and you probably have seen this too. I walk into the Red Zone Cafe one day, and Ed's sitting there, and he's got his drink there, and it's full of lemons. I mean, the entire glass is full of lemons. And that was part of your treatment, right?
It's good for you. No, it's you can ask anybody. Water and lemon. It's something you ought to do daily.
Have you tried that, Joe?
Well, at the dining hall in college, we'd get a bunch of lemons, and I would just squeeze them over the ice and over the water in my drink, and then I'd add a bunch of sugar, so I just made my own lemonade. So
yeah, there you go.
Oh, sure. Well, without the sugar, Joe. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, without that sugar.
I don't even drink water with lemon.
Oh, now
I
shame
guess
on you.
I'm just too lazy to squeeze the lemon.
Yeah, I know. It takes a lot of effort. Well, you guys have had amazing careers, and at Baylor and at Mississippi State, and of course, Ed, right here at Texas Tech. Do you remember the old days at Texas Tech, Ed, and our facilities that you had to use?
Okay, I'm glad you. I'm going to divert just not away from Texas Tech, but I'm going to do something, Dave, because I said if I forget, Sharon's going to. Well, she might kick me in the rear end when I get back to the house. They tore down the south end.
Yep.
And in the south end, there were all these helmet plaques hanging on the wall. People been in there, beautiful things.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, instead of trashing those things, I ended up over at the Letterman's Association with Will Culpepper right now.
Yep.
And Sharon and I, we're helping Will locate people all over the country that played at Tech, went on to the NFL, and those things are sitting around, and people, not everybody knows because we don't have good numbers for everybody. We're trying to contact everybody that has one of those that was hung on the wall on the south end, right? And we've only got about 10% of those people.
Are you going to send them their helmet? The
whole plaque.
The whole plaque, yeah.
And like I said, I've got to put kudos for Will because Will's doing a heck of a job, replace Rodney, doing a heck of a job trying to contact people that are years gone from Tech. A lot of them are deceased, and we're trying to get a hold of families right now. If somebody's listening to me, knows somebody that played at Tech, has got one of those helmets that's
They played in the NFL.
and played in the NFL. Yeah, it's an NFL helmet.
Yeah.
To get a hold of Will or me, either one, and we'll get that thing to people.
Okay.
Now the change. When I was in Will's office a couple of days ago, I went out his back door, which leads out into the stadium, and looked at that new monster in the south end.
Yeah.
You know, Dave, it's hard to believe.
Really is.
I mean, it is hard to believe that when I showed up here in 1965, you know, the stadium probably sat about 40,000 people, and it didn't look anything like it is today.
No.
And there's a lot of pride to walk out in that concourse and look any direction, north,
Beautiful.
south.
It really is.
Yeah, it is amazing. Yep.
It really. Joe, you won't give the helmet.
They
'cause-
spend. I think they spend too much money on that.
Oh, come on.
Well, look, I played at Baylor. Now
Yeah.
look at the stadium they play in.
Yeah, they should have
McLean.
torn that thing down, Joe, a long time ago.
You played at Floyd Casey Stadium, right?
Huh?
You played at Floyd Casey.
Yeah. It's torn down.
Yeah.
So, and then it went to Mississippi State. Our weight room was underneath the stands, and it just had barbells and dumbbells. Didn't have any weight machines or anything like that, and just learned to do bench press and curls and press and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. High school weight rooms have more weights and more facilities than we had in college.
Oh, you know, Joe, you're right. You know, my son's up in Ohio in the suburbs, and last fall he coached at Mentor. Now, Mentor High School means nothing to anybody listen to it, but they're the Odessa Permian of years past in the Cleveland area, and they've got a weight room up there, that high school, that, well, I haven't seen too many colleges, and I've seen a few that would rival Mentor High School in the suburbs of Cleveland, their weight room. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you go around here in
These
Lubbock.
high school stadiums, they build all these elaborate high school stadiums, and
Yeah.
there's no way they're going to fill them up. You know, they don't have that. I mean, at Lorenzo, we filled ours up, but we only had room for 200.
Y'all were the Hornets, weren't you, Joe?
Yeah, we were the Hornets.
Lower Lorenzo Hornets. I just can't believe you played at Lorenzo. That is, and then going to the NFL.
Dave, isn't Lorenzo 6-man now? Joe, is it 6-man now?
It's 6 men. They got 3 girls on the team.
Oh my God.
Three girls on the team.
Nobody
They
wants
don't
to.
either.
No, we don't even get into that.
They don't either. He's making that
And,
up.
and the cheerleading squad's made up of I think 2 guys.
You're gonna get us off track. Get us off the rail
That's
here.
gonna say.
All right. Well, and of course, I got a text here from Jan Brewer. She goes, Ed Mooney, Red Raider legend right there. He's the best.
You know what that means? I'm really old.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jan.
Yeah, that's very nice. She knows. I'm telling you, Jan Brewer knows. It's
Yeah, Ed, I played against him when I was at Baylor.
Yeah.
So and we beat him.
You did what?
We beat you
Now, Joe, we're both getting
when
old.
I was at Baylor.
No, I know you did. Yeah, it came up here and was it what 7-3 game or something? Does that sound right?
Oh, I can't remember the
D.D.
score, but I
Lewis
just
was playing
remember the
for you,
outcome.
right? Wasn't D.D. one of the linebackers?
That was the year before.
Oh, okay.
Y'all came up to Lubbock and beat Ed and the Red Raiders.
Yep.
You cheated.
Were you the starting quarterback?
The way this was at Baylor.
Yeah.
Okay. And Alvin Flynn was the quarterback, and the Baylor coaches decided, well, we're going to just alternate quarterbacks and send plays in that way. So that's how they worked that out.
Oh.
So
I'm not even going to get into the story, David, but I could have why he ended up at Mississippi State and left Baylor. You want to tell him, Joe, why he left and went to Mississippi State?
well,
Short answer.
I left Baylor because the coach decided, hey, you can't play quarterback anymore. We're going to move you to defense. So
That's the best part of the story.
Wow.
they moved me to defense, and I moved to Mississippi State. So,
And he got to Mississippi State and they put him on defense.
John Bridges sent him to Mississippi State.
How about
and the rest
that?
is history. Yep.
That is so great. Well, it's, are y'all still involved with any sports around your neighborhoods or going to games? I know Ed watched the games last night, but you mainly just play racquetball, don't you?
Well, and of course we go watch. Tell you what we do now, Joe. You'll get a kick out of this because he and I were talking about this on the phone yesterday. Sharon and I go around and watch other people's kids play now. That's what we do, besides the racquetball stuff. But we could shoot now. I went out and watched that girl out of Monterey. It's a pretty good basketball player.
Aaliyah. She was on the show last week.
Was she?
Yeah, Aaliyah Chavez, a Monterey girl. Joe, she leads the nation in scoring, and she's a junior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's something else.
Oh, she's a talent. No, but yeah. I like Sharon and I. Whenever we can, we go watch other people's kids now.
Yeah.
Well,
we don't do too much of that, but when we can, we go watch our grandkids play. That's about it.
Well, y'all had good kids that could play. Both y'all did. Y'all had kids that could play and compete and were really great athletes, and that was a fun time for y'all. I know while your kids were playing sports, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
Coronado for Joe Reed.
And mine are all over Joe, how many grandkids you got now?
15.
Oh, really?
15.
Lord, my kid stopped at 12. The dirty no, not
you
the
guys.
Dirty dozen.
Yeah. Well, I got 4.
Well,
and I'm done.
That'll keep you busy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot for you guys.
No great grandkids yet.
No great grandkids.
Not on this side yet either, although one of those grandkids is going with a boy. She's teaching at one of the elementary schools here in town, and she's got this boyfriend. And David, I can't see myself being a great granddad.
Great grandfather?
Oh, my God.
You're old enough to be one.
More than that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Listen, you guys have been absolutely great, and it's been so fun to have you on. A couple of Detroit Lions. And who would have ever thought and Dan Campbell has done a tremendous job coaching this team. And I know he probably made some decisions last week that y'all didn't really like and when he was going for it and those kinds of things. But, man, he's taken this team from the nowhere to one game away from the Super Bowl.
Joe, we talked about this yesterday, but if you were coaching that team the other day, what wouldn't you have done?
Well, I would take the points when he get them.
That's right.
Take the points.
He may have been able to make those fourth down plays against, so-so teams, but you're playing against the most elite team in the league, in San Francisco. So you better take those points when you could. He gave up at least 6. They lost by 3.
Yeah, so. Gave up at least 6 and lost by 3.
Joe, you remember Curtis Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I ran into Curtis at Zach's the other day, walking in there, and he not 2 words out of his mouth other than, Mooney, who's that stupid coach in Detroit? And Curtis started railing on him. I said, no, he said, hey, you get in a playoff game and that deep into it, and you give up at least, 6, maybe 9 points. Yeah, Curtis, he didn't mince any words, but I had to agree with him, Joe. You well know this. When you get into that deep in the playoffs, you take points when you get an opportunity. And a lot of people around town here, Joe, every time I run into somebody, they say, Mooney, what's wrong with that stupid guy up in Detroit? And I said, hey, Dan Campbell's a special guy, and, he's got one of those attitudes that, we can
get it.
We're going to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. But anyway, well, J.J. Johnson's listening right now, Joe, and he says that your daughter, Shanae, was the best athlete of them all. And you had some really good athletes. But he says she was really, I remember her playing softball. She was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are fun days.
Those are fun days watching that.
Those of you that are just listening, Joe Reed and former Lorenzo Hornet went on to the NFL. And Ed Mooney are here, former Red Raider that went on to the NFL. Both played for the Detroit Lions, and Joe played for the 49ers as well. I guess you're pulling for the 49ers this coming Sunday, right? Not tomorrow, but the next week.
I'm really pulling for just a good game.
Oh, Dave, I like to hear that.
I would like to see the 49ers win it because of Purdy, but I'd like to see Kansas City win it because of Mahomes.
Yeah.
But Mahomes is already, of course, Mahomes has got, 3 under his belt already?
He's got 2 championships, but he's been to the Super Bowl. It's amazing his career already, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, Joe, I'm impressed with both of those guys because where they stand, they're both believers, and they're the kind of guys that you and I would like to see out in front of people in this country right now, other than somebody, you know, beating on their chest and, you know, and being proud of themselves. So, yeah, from my perspective, it's nice that both those guys have got, you know, obviously some serious moral standards and good example for the country.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
They really are. They're doing a great job. And Brock Purdy, what is he like? He turns like 14 next week, doesn't he? He looks like he's 14 years old out there playing.
It's true. He looks like,
He's like a little
still in high
kid.
school.
Somebody's going to send him a razor.
Start shaving and everything. It's amazing. Gary and I, when we actually went to Iowa State and watched Texas Tech play one year, and Purdy was the quarterback.
Yep.
And he was a playmaker. He was a playmaker then when we were up there that day.
Doing a good job.
I can't believe they have so much criticism against him. I just can't. I don't see why they criticize him so much.
Yeah, I don't either. He's winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, it's hard to imagine criticizing anybody that's going to be playing in the Super Bowl here in a few days,
Well,
right?
you know, the thing that really got me, one of the quarterbacks that criticized him was Cam Newton. Cam Newton couldn't make it in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's criticizing Brock Purdy.
He was saying Purdy was maybe the sixth best player on the team, and there's too much hype about him.
Too much hype.
I just wanted to tell Cam Newton to shut up.
Times have changed, Joe.
Well, we're about to go out of here, y'all. I just want to thank y'all for being on. We're proud of you guys. We remember you well and fondly, and you're great Christian men, and we thank you for your dedication and what you've done through the years for FCA and so many other things. Y'all are great examples, and we are very thankful that you've been a part of our lives.
Appreciate it, David. Thank you.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All righty, welcome back. We're with Doral Suter. Probably need to do another one. McGavick Nissan and Infinity of Lubbock. It's a good one. Brent McGavick is a stud. I'm telling you, such a great guy, such a great community supporter as well. They're from Plainview. It's a family-owned operation. In fact, I think if you look at the numbers, that McGavick, as far as family-owned dealerships, is number one in the country. They're number one in the country with trucks. Patrick Mahomes, that is unbelievable. If they did a deal with Patrick Mahomes, he's still with them today. And this is a boy that's in demand.
What a huge hit they hit.
And he's staying with them. He's just a loyal guy. That says you a lot about Patrick and about Brent McGavick and their team there. Go out to see him on Spur 327 Milwaukee. On Milwaukee is the Nissan. On Spur 327 is Infinity of Lubbock. You'll love their cars in the dealership.
Well, we had two conversations during the break, and one of them I think Doyle and I agreed on is that the local umpires, and especially in Big 12 or the old Southwest Conference, it puts them in a bad spot to call. Or a guy from Austin calling down in Austin, or calling Texas games. It's just not.
Pull it close to your mouth. Is that what you're telling me?
And let me tell you this also.
There you go.
Is if you get good people, which Curtis and Doyle and a lot of these umpires Dave Carter.
Yeah.
If you get good people really do not want to come across as a homer.
No, not at all.
They don't want that visiting team to feel like they're getting hosed. Because let me tell you what, when you go on the road, you don't want to get hosed. You just want the best somebody has to offer. So I think it's real hard for an umpire to call in his own town.
It is. And I think sometimes that they go the other way to show they're not a homer. And then you go to places like Amarillo, they don't care if they're a homer.
El Paso and Amarillo.
Yeah.
About as bad as it gets.
We're homers.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to be honest and truthful and,
Call what you see.
Call what you see. That's all you got to do. Call what you see. Yeah. And that's why people offer you their glasses during the game.
Yeah, speaking of that, you fans out there, and you're going to yell at the umpires, don't call them blue if they're wearing a black shirt. I mean, who's blind? You or us?
Well, but you can't say black.
I know,
black.
you can't. That's why we can stop all that.
Y'all start wearing black all the time.
Yeah, I
How
never
about
cared.
ump? Hey, ump.
I used to tell Chris, I started him off in umpiring when he was at Tech, and so had a lot of involvement with him. But I used to tell him back in the day, I said, hey, man, I'm going to be out there Tuesday night. Y'all really get on me because I'm going to A&M this weekend. and they're going to tear me up, you know. So get after me a little bit. And, you know, the fans never bothered me. It was the dugouts. If the coaches were yelling, I didn't care about the players, you know, we have to shut that down. But the coaches yelling, there's something going on there. And, but I had great memories of Snead and them heckling, and you literally see them get in the hitter's head while you're there. You're right there, and if they had the pocket out, whatever, those guys, you see them just melt down at the plate, just melt down, because
but they did it with class.
Oh,
they didn't call them nasty names.
No names, no cussing.
It was just good.
Yes,
good.
I'd go on the road and coaches would say, "Golly, I wish I had that group," you know. And no, they're phenomenal at what they do, because they truly get in the players' heads and coaches sometimes too.
Yeah,
so.
I know. It was a lot of fun. It really was. The Texas Tech hecklers, they were the best. And Gus was a part of that.
Yeah, Gus was right there.
Big part of it.
He was talking about, Gus was like an instigator, like the creator. But he said Curtis and Doyle and Hub. Kroll, winner of the Segrist Award, because you guys had such a willingness to help young umpires. And y'all have done it, and you in particular done a great job of that through the years, helping these young umpires.
That's the best part of it. Really is the give back. So many people gave back to me. I like to tell a quick Hub story, real quick, if you don't mind. Hub umpired me as a player, and then taught me when I first got into umpiring. He taught. Yeah. And I went to Estacado as a young umpire, and I got my collarbone broke by working the plate. And we went to the trainer's room. And she was going to cut that chest protector off of me. Well, it was the first game of the season. It was brand new. Hub stopped her and goes, "I don't care how bad you hurt him. Just don't cut that chest protector."
Yeah, we're going to get it off there.
Yeah.
He's going to have to endure it.
Yeah. But
Hub was a good one.
Oh, my goodness.
He really
great.
was.
He spent so much time from Little League baseball up to college baseball. I umpired college baseball with him, and just a great, great person.
Yeah, we've had some really, really good ones. And, we give you trouble, but umpires through the years, but it's all part of the game.
When I umpired a lot of high school, Coach Magel never yelled at Dave Carter. Coach Magel yelled at me and Curtis all day long. Coach Magel never yelled at Dave Carter. Never.
Why?
I don't. The respect there, the true respect, really the true respect.
I made up for it on Dave.
Yeah, but he did. I mean, that's the truth. I umpired his last 5 years of his playoff games, and he did not. You asked me earlier about kind of a story on Coach Magel, but he set me down one day at a hotel. I was doing a playoff game, and he set me down. He goes, you have to be prepared for those 2 or 3 plays in a ball game. He was coaching me as an umpire about being ready for those crucial plays in a ball game. Yeah,
but let me tell you also, he probably mentioned that I expect to get those close calls.
Here's what's crazy. He would get so mad if you homered him and embarrassed him in front of the other coach. Like, I'm going to beat him. I don't need you.
I don't need your help.
Yeah, and he would literally get mad at that. Yeah. One time, Curtis and I worked a big playoff game at Plainview, and, everybody went to first and 8, and we're sitting way over at another clear across the room, and he walked all the way across the room and grabbed mine and Curtis's ticket, bought our lunch. We were just in shock. We were like, wow. And he's like, y'all deserve it. And paid our meal, and we were like, wow, that's a Coach Magel, unbelievable right there. But we had great coaches in this town, from Coach Magel and Coach Dudley and Rod Gardner. Those guys were just phenomenal in this town.
Were you umpiring when Vince Buffamati was coach?
Yes, umpired.
At Lubbock.
Yes, sir.
He was nuts.
He was nuts.
He really
was nuts. He was. I was a young pup.
I bet that was something.
Yeah. I've umpired every coach at Tech. So Ray, I did not umpire Ray, but in high school my best friend was Steve Coleman, and Steve went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And Ray was his roommate. So I met Ray. I met Ray back then, and and for that year that Steve played there at Oklahoma, he roomed with Ray. So I met Ray back then. But
talking about Ray Hayward.
Yes, Ray Hayward, great man, as we all know.
He is.
And then my rookie year at Tech umpiring, I umpired Tad Locke, and I umpired J. Bob at Howard and ACU as a catcher. And then
How about Frank?
Oh, Frank started off at Howard. Then he came to Tech. I umpired him. Then Then,
would you ever throw Frank out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you know what?
He'll give you
Every
a chance to throw him out.
Oh yes, and he wanted that. let's don't mince words. As a coach, a manager, there's 3 reasons why he's going to get thrown out of a game.
Yeah.
1, he thinks he missed the call. 2, he's trying to fire up his ball club, and 3, he just wants to go. You know.
Yeah, he just got some other
He's got
things.
to go. But anyway.
It's what they'd say about Mickey Sullivan down at Baylor. Said if it's a real pretty day, Mickey would try to get thrown out so he could go golf.
Oh, isn't that-
No, that ain't true.
That's the story.
That is a story. That is a true
That's the
story.
story.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Where's Coach?
Yeah, that is true.
I got
man.
2 o'clock tea time.
Hey,
Yeah.
before we get to the end of this thing, I'm serious about these young umpires because we don't need to have a shortage of umpires. How do young people get involved? Because you can make some pretty good walking around money.
Yes, sir. Well, the best thing is join the high school chapter. That's where I started. It's where I got my training. You get everything there.
Is there a contact person?
Oh yeah, Curtis Alexander. Just call him.
Call Curtis.
Yeah, and get a hold of him. Trent. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, Trent Petrie has LBA. You know, he got released at Tech on a Sunday. Called me on Monday morning. Got him into umpiring. But anyway, we taught a camp at his place the other day, and we had about 25 kids, and we did indoor, and then we went out on his big field that he just built, and you know, we had 4 Big 12 umpires there teaching. You know.
Yeah.
But you get all that for free if you join the high school chapter. And, you know, JV games pay as much as a varsity game.
No, really?
Yes. So you can go do JV baseball, make really good money, advance up.
How much you make?
I think they make $90 plus mileage.
For a JV
I
game?
believe so. Yes, sir.
Huh.
Now, I haven't done high school baseball in a while. I taught the high school chapter for 11 years. And
We got to get into it, Gary. Get even with
now, ask me
people.
what the college guys make.
What do the college guys make?
They're making close to $1,000 a game.
Oh. Yeah. 1,000 a game. So you
On a
surely
Tuesday.
shouldn't miss any calls.
And there's a lot of games.
Hey, Gary could have still be coaching if we'd had instant replay. I mean,
that's the truth.
yeah, because instant replay,
All
you don't
I
have to
wanted
argue
was
anymore.
right, and you can't get it
No,
right.
you
so you
can't.
might as well go vent.
Right.
Yeah.
But if
That's
you could
right.
get it right, you would just simply walk out there
Yeah.
and say, hey,
It's the best
check
thing.
it.
It's the
why
best
don't we
thing
get this
happen.
right? Yeah.
All the speed up rules are not helping the game. I remember Coach Tadlock told me when he first came on board, he didn't like. I'm pretty close to him, and we talk rules all the time. He calls me a lot after a game, during a game. My wife will usually be watching the game. She'll say, "Oh, this happened. I bet he's going to call you." And it's funny, he does. And I've got a Big 12 umpire, Mike Morris, in town today to just go over rules with him today here at 11 o'clock. But
Mike,
yeah, Mike's a good one. I started,
11 o'clock. That's 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's speaking to the team for an hour on all the
okay.
pitching rules and different things that's going on.
Let me ask you this question, because I've wondered this a long time. What is a strike? How wide is the plate?
17 inches.
17 inches. That's how wide is the white part the strike, or is the black part also part of the strike?
That black part is part of the strike, and
Okay.
any part of the ball that can catch any part of the plate
Is a strike.
is a strike. You know, Matt Gardner helped me out a few years back. I was struggling with the pitch, and it was getting the front edge of the plate and going out and being caught out, you know. But it was catching the front edge of the plate, which is truly a strike.
That's a strike.
But as fans, you're going to get, they want to
You see the catcher's glove
yeah,
over
it's
here.
that windshield wiper. He's going way out to get it. But, yeah, here's the thing. The guy will foul off great pitches. They're just barely off the plate, inside or out.
Yeah.
He'll foul those off. Like Ashby, he's up there to bat. If he fouls 3 of those off that are not part of the plate, what is he telling me? That that's a strike. So then he doesn't swing at it, and I call it strike, and he tells me it's off the plate. I'm like, well, you just fouled it off 3 times.
I know it.
No, I'm swinging at those close ones just so you won't.
That's right.
Won't ring me.
Yeah, and
Just trying to stay alive.
and now with the K zone and everything that they have now, I was looking at text the other day, and Petrie scored like a 93. Nowadays, that's what's taking up so long because to be honest with you, we had 2 zones. You had the zone when you weren't on TV. That was pretty big. That was a ball off the plate and a ball in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was legal back then, and coaches knew it, and they knew we were going to get a ball off the plate and a ball in. That's a foul ball that you get. But now we're on TV, and you get by the time you get back to your locker after the game, your whole K zone, strike zone, pitch by pitch is in your chair.
Of how you did.
Yes, and so now you can't get off the plate. You can't expand it. I'm not wanting to expand it 3 balls. I'm wanting to expand it 1 ball off and 1 ball in.
Yeah.
That's right on the plate.
Bill Brasher used to have those home plate umpire meetings when he was coaching high school and probably at Tech too when he was up here as an assistant, but he didn't used to go to the umpire meeting. But he'd say, the umpire say, he'd go, what's going to be the strike? And the umpire said, I'm going to give you 1 ball inside, 2 balls outside.
Oh, my.
And Bill would say, the next question you'd say, are there any other rules that you just arbitrarily changed
Right.
that I need to know about?
Bad verbiage right there. Don't ever tell them that.
Yeah.
I don't know where my strike zone's going to be. We're going to find out,
Yeah.
But I tell you what a pro umpire in the game really helped me with. He was like, hey, I mentioned going somewhere in the Big 12, and it wasn't a fun place to go. And he said, hey, you got to find something you like about that place because you will umpire with a bad attitude because you don't like going there. And that was really a true statement. To be honest with you, I didn't like going to Manhattan. You flew into Kansas City, you drove 2 hours to Manhattan back then. Now
Right, freeze your butt.
Right, and everybody talked, how bad it was to get in Lubbock. Well, you fly into Lubbock and you're 5 minutes away from Overton and 5 minutes away from the hotel. But anyway, he said, look, you're gonna have to break it. I was like, man, it's a big long 9-inning game. He was like, no. Take you 3 pieces of gum, chew a piece of gum the first 3, chew another piece the second 3, and chew another piece the third. And he goes, and when you do that, let the chips fall the first 3, and then try to get better the middle 3 than you were the first 3. And then the last 3 that matter so much, try to be better than you were the middle 3 and the first 3.
Yeah.
And so there was, there really was some logic about trying to get better as the game went along and be, all Gary wanted as a coach or a player, just be consistent. And if you can be consistent, you can be successful.
The second hardest umpiring job behind the plate certainly is by far the hardest. But these first base umpires and these throws at first, I don't know how they get it, and they get it right.
You know what's fascinating?
Every time.
What's fascinating is when they invented the game of baseball, that 90 feet was what they did.
Yeah.
And 90 feet's the perfect
It's
amount.
the perfect
it's the
amount.
perfect amount of
The
distance.
time it perfect. It's close many times.
That's why Tadlock likes Curtis so much. Curtis quit umpiring college baseball, but he'd take Curtis out on the bases because he loves Curtis's judgment on the bases. But I have to tell you a story. Coach Hayes is the one that got me into the Big 12. He turned my name in. I wasn't in the Southwest Conference, and I wasn't in the Big 8, and they joined together that year, and I got in. And thank goodness I was under Dave Carter and Curtis's tutelage. But I have to say, one time Larry walked by me and he said, hey, man, you got 2 ladies back there really giving you a hard time back there. I said, I know, it's my wife. It's my wife and mother. Don't worry about it. Go on. As you know, my wife worked for Dan Law, and I do a ball game, and I'd come home.
Oh, that one between the break that you're talking about, Dan Law asked you to come out and tell that story real quick. We only got like a minute.
Yeah.
He asked you to come out and watch.
Oh, he wanted me to come watch
I was
Tanner
coaching
play, and he said, hey, come out and watch Tanner play. So I was like, okay. I usually don't go to ballparks, so I get in trouble sitting there. And anyway, I go out there, and David gets thrown out of the game, and Dan Law gets thrown out of the stands, and they're both out there in the outfit. I look at my wife, Cindy, I'm like, we might ought to leave. We might ought to leave. Because I told Dan they got the play wrong, and I told him what the rule was. And Dan starts yelling at the umpire and points over at me and goes, well, he's a Big 12 umpire. And they throw Dan out, and I looked at Cindy, I'm like, it's time for us to go.
We best move on. Okay, got 30 seconds. What do you got to say?
Join the high school chapter if you want to officiate. That's
be
what
a
it's
part.
about.
Thank you, Doyle, for what you've done.
Thank y'all.
Thank you
y'all.
for your
Love
commitment and being a part and just the man you are. You've been something. You're a blessing to people.
Well, I appreciate it, and appreciate y'all. Love doing the show. Appreciate it. And again, what an honor, Cal Seegers. What an honor.
It is such an honor. It really is. And well deserved.
You ought to be proud of your career.
You did good, buddy. You ought to keep umpiring.
No,
You still got more in you. You got 5 seconds.
Well, my
See
Big
you
12
later.
supervisor called me yesterday, and that's what he told me.
All right.
I was like, no, I'm done. I got great
done.
kids and golf.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Here's another great Red Raider, Lubbock Truck Sales. That's Cody Kinsey, James Kinsey. And they were doing those trucks when y'all were coaching out there, Rick.
Yeah, they were. They're great. They've been great supporters for so long.
For so long.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need a truck or a tractor, trailer, they got all the big names. They got the equipment that you're looking for. They can fix it. They can make it. They can source the part. They can keep you up and running. And Gary and I, when we went out there a couple of times, you just walk through that facility and you go, This is spotless.
You could eat
It's
off
a
the floor.
truck store.
Well, if James Kinsey's going to be part of anything, you know it's going to be first class. So
It is first class. Just outside the loop on the Slayton Highway. At least when you drive by, just look. You're heading to Post. Look over to your left. You're coming back in. Look to your right, and you'll go, man, that's a great looking facility.
It is.
That's the way it ought to look if you're running a tight ship like they do.
Well, it's,
Midland, Odessa, y'all come up here. Get your trucks up here. All right, Rick Dykes is here, and we're going to talk a little football now and a little NFL and the Super Bowl. You like Super Bowl? You fired up about it?
I am. Yeah. Because
Are you glad that Detroit got beat? Would it not have been as exciting if Kansas City was playing Detroit, would it?
probably not. But I'll be honest. I love that Detroit team.
I do too. I love
that
Coach
Detroit.
Campbell.
I was for them.
I was too. I was pulling for him.
I was too. The only thing, and he's caught some heat about going for it and on fourth downs, but he's done it all year and he's been consistent. So I really don't have a problem with that. I would have liked to have seen him when they had the ball on about the 35 or 40, and they still had all three of their timeouts.
Yeah.
And there was a minute 40 left. They could have kicked the field goal at that time. Kicked off, had all three of their timeouts, and they would have been guaranteed with a 3 and out to get the ball back.
Exactly.
That's the only decision that I wasn't, I thought
Well,
wasn't
I think
the best.
when you're up 14 and you got a chance to make it a 3-score lead.
You're talking we're up 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I know.
I don't know what book you'd have to read where it would say don't kick the field goal. I mean,
Whatever you do.
I know you look at the book, and I go with
Analytics.
I go with a whole lot of those analytics, but I'll also say that I can't imagine any analytics book saying don't go up 17 points right before half.
Well, the other thing too that I thought, if you go for it and you don't make it, you lose some momentum going into halftime.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I think you take the points there.
Take the
And you're
points.
up 3. I mean, you're up 3 scores.
Keep
There's
your
no
momentum.
way.
And you're
Keep
sprinting
your
You've
into
got
that
the
locker
momentum.
room.
Yeah. And so
then
that's
instead they failed. Now they go into the locker room.
Losers.
We didn't make it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just. I thought they were going to win. I really thought they were going to win. It blew me away when I was watching it. They were scoring like that, and those turnovers, that fumble by the running back.
Yeah.
Those kind of things just kill you. You can't have those.
no those, and they had the one receiver that dropped third down catches on 2 possessions
Yes,
in a row.
he did.
And that was, to me, that was probably the difference in the football game.
Yeah.
And but anyway, what he did this year with that team was unbelievable, and to be in position where you're actually, you're a player or two away from the Super Bowl.
Where did Goff play college? I should know that.
He played at Cal.
Yeah, Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a picture on my phone we were in Austin, and it was me and my father and Dusty, my son, and we were in the Cal locker room after they beat Texas. Sonny was coaching at Cal at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah. And Cal went down and beat them in Austin, and we had a picture after the game. It was pretty special time.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, he played
What
well.
in the world was Sonny thinking going to Cal? Because he's not going to fit in at Cal.
No, Gary, though sometimes he's at Louisiana Tech,
Yeah.
and you've been at Louisiana Tech for a while and you've done really well, and you have a chance to go into the Pac-12, and Cal, he got a pretty substantial raise. They raised his money for assistants, so he's able to hire a pretty good staff. And at that time, you're like everybody. I mean, you think that you're the guy that can turn that thing around. And it's not like Cal hadn't been. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. They had Aaron Rodgers, and Marshawn Lynch, and I mean, you look at the guys that have played at Cal that are in the NFL. I mean, they're as impressive group as anybody. And so, but it ended up not being a great fit, and they're just, it takes a special coach. It probably takes a Californian, actually, to coach at Cal that's got a little bit.
Yeah, in the weed. Okay, everybody circle up.
I didn't mean that, David. But it's not as not as committed to football as what Sonny had hoped for, and it wasn't really at the athletic department level. It was at the higher levels, the president and.
Yeah,
the board, and they just weren't
They weren't as committed as
they weren't as committed as what they had said they were.
Yeah.
When they hired him, And
everybody
so
should be so fortunate to have a Lawrence Skubnik. Is he amazing guy, a president at Tech?
He's the best.
He really is. I've never seen anything like it. He's tremendous.
I've had a chance. We've bounced around quite a bit, and he is the very best.
Phenomenal.
And he's so humble. That's what I like the most about him. He'll just, he'll sit down and have a drink with you, and he's fun and he's humble, and yet that he cares so much about Tech and the students. He's not just about athletics.
It's genuine. He's genuine.
And he's a brilliant man, but he makes you think that you're as smart as he is, and so
he
you're
really
not.
has to dumb it down when he comes on our show.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how he gets ready to come on here. Here, let me stay up all night.
Watch his Sesame Street or something.
Hit me in the face before I get there with you. No, he's just he's a great guy. He's the best, and and his boss Ted Mitchell's.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Patty.
Yeah. No, well, it goes without saying
That's
about Patty. Patty's just she's so much fun.
She's a tiger.
I don't know if she is.
She is a tiger.
And I think she's more committed to Tech athletics. I mean, she lives and dies.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's not. She sweats them out.
It's serious stuff.
It is. So we're so fortunate.
But you mentioned Ted Mitchell, and we're blessed to have him as chancellor.
Oh,
we're so fortunate at Tech right now. And to have Kirby Hocutt, he may be the best athletic director ever.
Well,
he's really good.
I've been fortunate enough to have gotten to know Kirby down through the years, and we're good friends. And I'll say this: Kirby has had numerous opportunities to leave Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Numerous. And make, we pay him well, but he could, I'm not going to say double his salary, but he could make a lot more than he's making at Texas Tech now with, at Ohio State or wherever he wanted to be. And we are so lucky, and it's a tribute to the people here in West Texans and really, Kirby. Part of the reason Kirby loves Texas Tech is because he works for such a great president.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a huge difference who your boss is. Mm-hmm. But his family's doing great. Diane's doing great. The boys are good.
They love it here. They love it here.
They love it here. I love to see him down at Possum Kingdom in the summer times. And he's just, and he's fit in really great to the community. But let's appreciate how lucky we are that we have such three great people, Mitchell, Skubnik, and Kirby.
Yeah, the best.
Hocutt. I mean, we're so lucky.
How
and really
get that? All three the best. I mean, how do you get? You're just very fortunate, blessed.
We are. We're so blessed, and I think that's why it's beginning to show up in our athletic teams as well. I mean,
Well, the people they're hiring and surrounding themselves with are
the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
you worry about Joey McGuire. He's going to come here and go somewhere else. Grant McCaslin's going to come here and go. I don't think so. I think they're here, and this is where they want to be.
Tim could go.
Tim Tadlock could go anywhere.
But he's here.
He's here.
Yeah.
Kitley.
If
anybody's looking for a track coach, they'd look at Kitley.
Yeah,
but he ain't
might
going.
hire him.
No, they're here.
They love it here at Texas Tech. Well, in Lubbock, Texas, and that's really you said it. Our fans, our support systems. You're the deal when you're at Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah.
You're a big
deal.
deal.
As you travel around too. Our facilities, I mean, when they finish the south end zone, there's not going to be any place in the country. Now, that might be bigger at A&M or something, but there's not going to be anywhere in the country that has nicer facilities than what we have at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And it starts at the football program, the basketball, the Womble Center. The track, the softball field.
New baseball stuff.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at what
we're so fortunate, and Kirby has done such a great job, with our facilities here that we attract the best coaches and we can keep the best coaches.
Yeah,
and that's
you need them because we're off the beaten path.
We are.
We're not in the
Metroplex.
Middle of stuff.
No, Tech is not. As much as we love Lubbock, it's not the easiest place to recruit to. I spent 10 years out selling Texas Tech and
Lubbock.
Yeah, and we have the best people. And that's what makes Tech so special.
That's what you sell.
And Lubbock. And that's what you really sell.
and they know it. The kids see it too when they get here. Don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They see it.
They do.
And you
well, I
fans
think that's why too. It's interesting when you coach these guys, and that I've had the opportunity to coach, and and I've been very fortunate to have stayed in touch with a lot of them, and I don't know any one of them that wouldn't move back to Lubbock right now if they had a chance.
Mm-hmm. How about Josh Young? He bought a house and he lives in Lubbock.
Yeah,
that's where he lives.
Yeah. Well, those guys I talked to, I mean, the Byron Hansbards, and I mean those guys, they loved Lubbock and West Texas.
Yeah,
and they are, they would, the guys would move back here in a heartbeat if they could make it work. I mean, it's just it's just a special place. I mean, it's because
it really is.
A couple of guys you talked to recently, one of them just got a job in the NFL. So when did you talk to Cliff last?
Well, I don't. It's not.
You talk pretty regular.
I do. Yeah, I stay in pretty good contact with Cliff. I don't think it's official yet with the Las Vegas, but
is it not?
I don't think it's official yet. But
I thought I saw it on ESPN last night.
Maybe it has. I didn't.
Maybe it said they're talking to him about
Well, I know. I think it's going to happen.
Good.
So whether it's been announced or not, and it's a great opportunity for Cliff. I'm really excited about that.
I think that's the ideal role for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Cliff knows. Cliff is a football coach. But he just didn't. He didn't like to travel. He didn't like the recruiting. I mean, but he loves to coach football.
Some of the aspects of being a head coach just weren't in his wheelhouse.
No. Although I think with the right coordinators, Cliff could be a tremendous head coach. I still do that. I still believe that.
Yeah, if he had the right people that could do
I'm
those
gonna
jobs.
say probably more so in the NFL than college.
I agree.
No question.
Yeah.
No question. And the things that come when college, you're in college, you're more of a CEO than you are a football coach, honestly. I mean, you're out speaking to groups, you're out recruiting, you're out raising money. You're doing those types of things in NFL.
I always thought Cliff was uncomfortable. Maybe one-on-one he's very comfortable, but in a group and all that, I always felt like he'd sure rather be.
He didn't like
else.
groups really.
No, and he loved to coach football. He loved to, loved the, and I did too. I mean, that's one of the things. I don't miss a lot of things about coaching, but the preparation to prepare a team and everything it takes to, prepare a team to play on Saturday, an offense where you're designing plays against.
Yeah.
I mean, that
is fun.
Oh, it's the best.
It's fun.
And when it all comes together, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and that's what Cliff is so good at.
He really is.
Oh, he probably has as good a football mind as I've ever been around. I mean, he just understands the concepts of, offense and spreading the field and getting everybody involved and, and the matchups. And I mean, he's
seemed like in Arizona, the quarterback, I forgot his name.
Kyler Murray.
Wasn't he? Tyler Murray. Seemed like he got too big.
What's his deal?
Too big for his britches.
He did.
Something.
I'm not a big
team
fan.
guy. He was a me guy.
I'm not a big fan. And and from what I read in the paper and what I saw, there were some times that Cliff and him didn't see eye to eye on things. But that's Cliff. He never ever said a negative word about him.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's not going to. I mean, you
kind of want to.
I wanted to.
You kind of want to defend yourself.
I wanted to defend him.
Yeah.
But he's not going to do that. I mean, that's just the person he is. So, anyway, I don't think Kyler Murray's been a great teammate. I'll just say that in some instances. I hope he matures, and because he's such a special talent, but
so athletic. My gosh.
But he needs to.
Just short.
He is. But David, he can make up for it because there's.
You think he's got little man syndrome?
He is, sure, but Rick's right. You say he can't see over. Well, sure he can. He's going to run over there.
Yeah,
and nobody's over there.
He can't see over him right now, but in 1/100th of a second, he's not going to be there.
Yeah, he won't be there anymore.
Yeah, he's got special talents.
He does.
And but I just think he needs to work on the role that if you look at the great football teams and you look at the Super Bowls. I mean, the winners of the Super Bowls, you can say every year, or the guys that get there, the teams that get there, what do they have in common? They have great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they don't only have great quarterbacks, their quarterbacks are leaders. Those are the leaders of their football team. Even Josh, I saw him interview Josh Allen yesterday. They're playing a Pebble Beach golf deal. And he had such a great interview talking about, the season and his teammates and, how he needs to step his game up. And, it was just, and you just don't see those other guys doing that. But Patrick Mahomes, he's the best. He's the best. And the most humble, if it goes wrong, it's his fault. Those guys drop the balls. It is maddening.
Oh, first part of the year, you're just there going.
Oh. All right, you're the NFL owner. You can draft Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Dak Prescott. Put them in order. Who would you take first? I know mine.
Man, that's a really hard.
Because Josh Allen's it's between Josh Allen and Patrick.
Either one of those first two.
Patrick Mahomes.
And me too.
Yeah.
But
which one of them's younger?
Probably Josh Allen.
I might take
but
Josh
they're close.
Allen.
But
Mahomes
Dak wouldn't even be on my list.
No, he's down the list a ways.
Yeah, he's not. What's his problem?
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.